Hello, my name is Lisa Elvin Staltari, and this is my channel, Have Roots, Will Travel. I am a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Most of my videos will be about travel or understanding various localities, but in this special series, I'm focusing on a subject that is near and dear to my heart, the story of the Fille du Roi, or the King's Daughters. In this series, I'll be focusing on individual biographies so that we can really get to know as many of these amazing women as we can. Please let me know in the comments below if there is one Fille du Roi in particular you are interested in, and I'll try to move it to the front of the line. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the notifications alert so you'll know when I post new content. So with that being said, let's get to work. Let's explore the next Fille du Roi, which is the third in this series. Let's explore a little bit about Les Filles du Roi. I just want to make sure that you are alert to the fact that this was an entire program that they ran in between 1663 and 1671 or so. And in episode 1, featuring Marie Ursule Arculaire, I go into great lengths about the program and what it encompassed. I will also be featuring another video shortly in the next couple of weeks. I will be featuring a video that is exclusively related to the actual program that the Fille du Roi experienced. With that, let's get to number 3 in our series, and her name is Elisabeth Isabelle Salé. She is actually my 8 times great-grandmother. Another one. Now, her early life, she was born around 1651, and in the parish of Saint-Médard in the Faubourg Saint-Marceau section of Paris. This is found in the 5th arrondissement, the Latin quarter, 5th arrondissement of Paris in the Latin quarter. And she would have been baptized in the church that I'm featuring right here, that is present day. It actually dates from the 14th century. The Latin quarter of Paris is an area on the 5th and the 6th arrondissement of Paris. It's situated on the left bank of the Seine, around the Sorbonne. The area gets its name from the Latin language, which was widely spoken in and around the university during the Middle Ages, after the 12th century philosopher Pierre Abelard and his students took up residence. How's that for some sort of history lesson? So, her father was a merchant ironmonger to the palace. And her mother, Françoise Lupia, that is all we know of her. Now, sometime around 1670, she was about 19 when she set off for New France. Contrary to other Filles du Roi, she was not an orphan, and her family was not living in poverty. She came from at least a middle-class family. When I looked at the ship's log, there was another young woman with the name of Salé, and her name was Madeleine Thérèse. Her father's name was Claude, and she lived in the exact location as Elisabeth Isabelle. Could they have been cousins? I like to think so. There were over 150 Filles du Roi who were on that ship. Can you imagine? As I perused the list, I also found Elisabeth Anne Lefebvre. Elisabeth Agnes Lefebvre, who we got to know in video 2, another great-grandmother. How wonderful to think that Elisabeth Agnes and Elisabeth Isabelle might have gotten to know one another on that long passage. They landed in Quebec City on July 31st, 1670. Elisabeth Isabelle arrived with goods valued at over 200 pounds. Now, let's look at the groom she picked out. The groom was Jacques Marcotte, and he was born in October of 1644 in the arrondissement of Le Havre in Normandy. He was the son of Charles Marcotte and Jacqueline Boucher, and he was actually a master butcher. His brother Nicolas Marcotte also arrived in New France and married Martine Torre. So we have Jacques and Nicolas Marcotte, who were the originators of the Marcotte family. Now we look at the marriage. So we have both the marriage contract and the church record. On the 9th of September 1670, a marriage contract was drawn up at Trois-Rivières between Jacques Marcotte and Elisabeth Isabelle. We also have a very long and descriptive marriage record that lists all the information about their parents and where they were from, the witnesses who came, all of that. Now, where did they Jacques and Isabelle started out their married life in Trois-Rivières, but within a few years moved to the nearby Domburg, eventually to be known as Noville, when the seigneurie was purchased by Nicolas Dupont de Noville. Until 1679, they would go to Quebec City to have their children baptized, as there was no church established in Noville. By 1679, finally a church was built and the parish of Pointe-aux-Trembles was established, which is where the remaining children were baptized. Now you can see on this map where Noville is in comparison to Quebec City. And you can also see where Three Rivers is in relationship to Quebec City. So really, they went from kind of in between Quebec City, always along the river, if you will. And this very large picture is the Basilica Notre-Dame de Quebec, which of course is still, standing. And then we have l'Assomption Church in Trois-Rivières, where they were married. Now let's have a look at the family they created. They had 14 children, 11 of whom made it to adulthood. Their firstborn, Denis, died at 10 years of age. Their secondborn, Jacques, married Louise Françoise Baudet, and they had 9 children, 7 of whom made it to adulthood. Louis died at age 7. Jean-Baptiste married Marie Paquet, and they had 6 children, all of whom reached adulthood. Geneviève and Elisabeth married Henri Bellil, and together they had 13 children, at least 11 of whom reached adulthood. Marianne, who is my 7 times great-grandmother, married François de Nevers du Bois, and they had 11 children, all of whom made it, can you believe it, to adulthood. Marguerite Elisabeth married Jacques Jacob Montalbon, and they had 10 children, 7 of whom made it to adulthood. Marie Urselle married François No, and together they had 13 children, 12 of whom made it to adulthood. We have Marie Madeleine. I have not been able to prove this descendancy. Guillaume only lived less than a month. Jean-François married Marie Geneviève Morissette, and they had 9 children, 8 of whom made it to adulthood. Michel married first Marie-Françoise Guignac, with whom he had 4 children, and then he remarried Marie-Louise Richard, with whom he had 7 children. Jean married Marie-Anne Morissette, if you'll recall. Jean-François married a Morissette, a Geneviève. Jean married the sister in a double ceremony where they had the two couples, and they had 6 children. Lastly, Henri married Marie Charlotte Ardet in 1727, but sadly Marie died in 1732, and they did not have children. I've not been able to establish if Henri had any other children, but that is where I was able to track it all down. Now, what's really interesting is that the Marcottes later on in their life settled in a place called Cap Santé. The name of the town means Cape Health. Cap Santé is on the northern bank of the St. Lawrence River, about 25 miles west of Quebec City. Legend has it that this community's name was coined when soldiers suffering from an unknown disease miraculously recovered from a cure discovered in the village. The first settlers arrived here around 1679, and in 1714 the village became an official parish. The house pictured above is I know it's impossible to believe, is the actual dwelling of Jacques and Elisabeth Isabelle Marcotte. This picture comes from the website, the Famille Marcotte, which is an amazing website. So it has been redone and redone, but that is still the structure. The later years, Jacques Marcotte died between 1717 and 1720. What I find, and Isabelle Salé died December 31st, 1722. What I find interesting in that this document states that she is 67 years old. That's interesting as we've only been told that she was born around 1651. This would push her birth year up and make her 15 when she comes to New France. Normally these documents, when there is some doubt, they would have said about 67 years. Whether Isabelle herself shaved a few years off the end and told everyone she was younger than she was, or the document actually tells us the truth, we cannot know. The point, of course, is that you must read the documents as you can to glean whatever information you can get. She is buried at the Sainte Famille Cemetery in Cap Santé. And so ends another mini biography of these amazing king's daughters. We'll see you soon with another biography. Until then, au revoir.